Ni hao, and welcome to the Game Boys channel. I'm Johnny, and I am here today with an exciting new series that I hope you enjoy, Johnny Explains It All. So for the inaugural first episode of Johnny Explains It All, I thought that I would talk about one of the most fascinating things, the Marvel-Disney agreement. A lot of you seemed interested in knowing about this, so I thought I would share. I will also include some links to some articles that might provide you some information if you're inclined to learn more about this. In order to understand the current agreement between Marvel and Disney, you have to go back a little bit in time.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Well, we're going, we don't need roads.
The year is 1994. Marvel was just trying to get by and pay the bills because they were not in the great shape that they are today. So they were selling off their intellectual property or IP and characters to so many different places. Spider-Man was sold to Columbia and Sony, which is why we have the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. X-Men was sold to Fox, which is why we have the first X-Men movies with Halle Berry as Storm. And Fantastic Four was also sold to Fox, which coincidentally also starred Chris Evans as a Johnny Storm, which I did not think about until just now when I was making this video, which is kind of a cool trivia fact. Daredevil, the Hulk, Punisher, and some other characters were also licensed to movies. Universal was also one of the studios that Marvel sold the rights to, and eventually Universal negotiated a way for Marvel characters to be in their new Second Gate theme park, Islands of Adventure, which is why we have Marvel Superhero Island at Universal. This is where things first get interesting. Universal and Marvel made an agreement that I feel was very much in the favor of Universal. Marvel Superhero Island will remain in perpetuity or indefinitely unless Universal decides to close Marvel Superhero Island, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon. Stop making payments, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon. Or Marvel opts out of the contract, feeling that their brand is suffering through Universal's usage of the property, which I also don't think is going to happen. Now, let's flash forward
Many months later.
to 2009 when Disney acquires Marvel Studios. And what the best thing about this agreement is it does not negate the 1994 contract, but it just stacks on top of it, which means the 1994 contract takes precedent first. After Disney acquired Marvel, they had to set up a new contract for intellectual property within the park. Universal Orlando owns the right to Marvel usage for all areas east of the Mississippi River for any property they are currently using. Universal currently has 4 attractions that are based on characters. Those are the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and Spider-Man. So you can never see those characters or any characters in their family in a Walt Disney World property, because those are east of the Mississippi. Universal Studios Japan also has a Spider-Man ride, the exact clone of the one at Universal Studios Florida, so Tokyo Disney also has to follow the same rules that Walt Disney World does. However, you can have them all west of this Mississippi, so Disney California Adventure and Disneyland are allowed to have Marvel, which is why we are getting Marvel's campus at DCA. Family is a very loose word, but it's basically sidekicks, other fun characters, villains that are associated with that brand. So for example, since Fantastic Four is at Universal, you probably won't see Doctor Doom at Walt Disney World anytime soon. So, you may be asking yourself, Johnny, why can there be Guardians of Galaxy at Walt Disney World? Because that is not a character that Universal currently had. So that is exempt, and the new character, Guardian of the Galaxy, is much bigger of a family that supersedes the Avengers. And this is why family matters. And in terms of other popular characters and movies, Doctor Strange seems not to fall under any family Universal owns. Well, he may have had some crossovers. He was a standalone character. Captain Marvel is a bit clear, and she won't be coming anytime soon because Marvel is in her name. And you're not going to probably see Black Panther anytime soon because he has very strong ties to the Avengers as well. And as far as Disney including anything about the MCU universe on their buses or monorails, that actually falls under movie advertising, so does not fall under this umbrella of an actual attraction. And there, my friends, concludes the inaugural episode of Johnny Explains It All. I hope you had a good time. Please comment below if you did, and also more importantly, please comment on what you would like to see in future Johnny Explains It All videos. As I said, I love theme parks, theme park history, Disney, Universal, every other theme park you can name of, Cedar Point, Six Flags. So if you have any subject that you are interested in, please comment below and it may be featured in an upcoming video. If you had a good time today, please take a moment to give this video a like, and if you're a subscriber, thank you so much for joining me today. I had so much fun putting this together and just talking about something that I love and care about so much and got to share it with you. And if you're not a subscriber, I hope that you enjoyed this video and consider hitting that subscribe button to be notified of future Disney, theme park, game, pop culture, and lifestyle related videos. Until next time, take care and be well. Bye!